holidays.
News 12 Sydney Heiberger was there and tells us our local leaders are very concerned about what the holiday week could bring. Well, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, the mayor's office, the CDC, and the Department of Public Health all encourage you to spend the holiday at home, only with the people you live with. While there is no official travel ban, state and local health leaders say numbers are moving in the wrong direction, and Thanksgiving dinners and gatherings are the perfect environment for the virus to spread. That's why they say they encourage a small Thanksgiving meal without any travel. They say the safest option is to have virtual Thanksgivings. In Richmond County, Mayor Davis reports nearly 9,700 cases since the beginning of the pandemic, but nearly 700 of them have come in the past 2 weeks alone.
We have seen individuals and establishments become lax in the city of Augusta. But this is a grave concern for us in the city of Augusta because of the potential of community spread through asymptomatic individuals.
And within the next week or so, you'll see local law enforcement cracking down on people and businesses not following local and statewide executive orders. We'll tell you how they plan to do that tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock. In Augusta, Sydney Heiberger on your side. Taking a look at
all monitoring and counting.
To the coronavirus now, and the pandemic is more widespread than ever before, with hospitalizations on the rise in nearly all 50 states. More than 1 million virus cases reported across the country in the last 7 days.
And a curfew has now been ordered in most California counties. Dana Backus reports.
With cases of the coronavirus surging throughout the country, a vaccine may be on the way. Drug maker Pfizer is requesting emergency use authorization from the FDA for its vaccine, which may be more than 90% effective.
Should this be approved, we would then expect that our first shipment of roughly 130,000 doses would arrive in-state around Christmas time.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy welcomed the news as parts of his state impose strict measures to contain the spread. All residents in the city of Newark are being asked to stay at home for 10 days beginning next Wednesday. And starting tonight, a curfew is in effect in some areas.
We need that because we have too much cases over here.
Frontline workers say they are not only battling the virus, but denial from people who think COVID is fake news.
I have never seen so much death and so much sickness in the past 2 weeks than I have in my entire 10 years in healthcare.
California's governor is imposing an overnight stay-at-home order for most counties that keeps people from leaving their homes from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in an effort to slow the spread.
The order goes into effect Saturday and will impact businesses in hot zones like Los Angeles County.
All it's going to do is cause more people to go on unemployment because I'm going to furlough another 5 people beginning next week.
The CDC is also urging Americans not to travel over the Thanksgiving holiday, strongly suggesting people celebrate with people they live with.
I get it, but it's Thanksgiving, and people want to be with their families.
A week before the holiday, people lined up for boxes of food in Colorado. Feeding America, the nation's largest hunger relief organization, says the coronavirus-related economic crisis could leave 54 million Americans unable to access affordable food. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Health officials around the world are clashing on the use of the antiviral drug Wrdw. The drug is being used in hospitalized COVID-19 patients. The WHO says there's no evidence the drug improves survival or reduces the need for breathing machines. But in the U.S. and many other countries, the drug has been the standard of care since a study found it shortened recovery time for hospitalized patients by 5 days. Remdesivir is the first drug approved by the FDA to treat COVID.
COVID cases globally are seeing a spike, and today Russia reports a record high of more than 24,000 new cases. Going to show you a graph of the cases and the deaths there. Russia has now seen more than 2 million cases overall. Authorities are resisting another lockdown and enforcing stricter safety measures. They're also working on vaccines. Just last week, the country said its first vaccine against COVID-19, the Sputnik 5, was 92% effective. Another senator testing positive. Facebook says it also removed 265,000 pieces of content for breaking the company's rules against voter interference.
One person is in custody in Manhattan after pushing a woman into the path of an oncoming train, and it was caught on camera. It happened during rush hour Thursday morning when the victim was on her way to work. She was waiting on the train right before being pushed onto the tracks. The woman ended up inside and not on top of the two rails and kept her head down as the train passed over. Thankfully, she only had minor injuries, but the suspect has been charged with attempted murder and reckless endangerment. This is the second time this week something like this has happened, and both times police believe the suspects suffer from mental illness.
A Pittsburgh synagogue targeted in an attack a couple of years ago is making a new beginning. The Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh announcing a fundraising campaign for renovations. It was attacked by a gunman back in 2018, leaving 11 people dead, several more injured. So far, no real plans for renovations have been unveiled, and it's not clear how much money they're hoping to raise. But along with the renovations, the funds would also support programs to combat hate. Celebrities, including Tom Hanks, are helping with those efforts. College students are home for the holidays, normally finding seasonal jobs in restaurants and retail stores. That might not be the case this year.
Many of those jobs are not available due to COVID restrictions and businesses closing, but Jamie Tucker shows us seasonal work-from-home jobs are out there if you know where to find them.
We may be able to find a few in-person job openings this year, but more and more companies are looking to hire seasonal workers who can work from home or remotely. Since online shopping is going to be bigger than ever this year, retailers are looking for people to take phone calls from customers, getting products set up and answering questions. Customer service positions are in high demand. If you don't like talking on the phone, data entry jobs are available. This entails entering business orders and updating spreadsheets. Again, work you can do from home in your PJs. How do you find these jobs and filter out any scams? Flex Jobs is a top resource because it reviews every job posting and company to make sure it's legit. And companies listing openings on Flex Jobs are well known. These seasonal work-from-home jobs are from Harry and David and 1-800-Flowers. And while many are only temporary seasonal positions, I found plenty of full-time permanent jobs with health insurance and paid vacation days. Salaries starting at around $13 an hour. But whether you have a student home for the holidays or if you have some time, an internet connection, a smartphone, and a computer, may be able to find some work that you can do from home at least through the end of the year. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
A Georgia family had a pretty unexpected surprise nearly a month ago, and this week they are thanking Macon EMTs for their help. Chastity had just returned from the hospital when her water broke, and that's when her husband sat her down in the tub, called paramedics to find out what to do, but dispatchers started telling him how to deliver the baby. About half an hour later, baby Josiah was born. Yesterday, the family met with those paramedics and the dispatcher that helped deliver baby Josiah.
She walked through the threshold of the bedroom door and she said, baby. And as soon as she said that, her water broke.
He was perfect. Once we cut the cord and took him, put him on the stretcher, got him cleaned up and wrapped up. And it really could not have gone more better.
The couple says although they don't see any more children in their future, they would consider another at-home birth. So at least they're not traumatized for life. Teaching from a hospital bed became the new norm for one woman who did not want to leave her students behind. The impact that had on her students coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers all over are going above and beyond to help students during the pandemic, even while they themselves are dealing with their own personal struggles.
Wayne Carter is in the classroom with the inspiring story of one teacher's persistence.
Good morning.
Almost all of us have a teacher who just made it click.
Reading has been my struggle, and she makes reading make much more sense.
The author's riding on a train. And the train, oh no, it can't stop.
From her animated voices to her love of the Backstreet Boys, you can't stop watching Sewell Elementary's Stephanie Hume fighting learning loss during a pandemic.
These kids are feeling the same emotions we're feeling. They're afraid, they're unsure of what's coming next.
No one saw what was coming for Miss Hume, though.
I am a 2-time cancer survivor, so I had put off going to the doctor, because I didn't want to miss anything, and I ended up getting to have surgery. So.
What happened next? Well, knowing Miss Hume wasn't a total surprise.
In the hospital, gonna have some surgery, but I didn't want y'all to miss the last part of your book.
Hours after her surgery, Miss Hume kept Peaches from her hospital bed.
She's like, can I go now? Can I go now? He's like, you have a temperature of 102. You have to stay.
Chapter 10. Stay, she did. Stay and teach. Even though her kids couldn't have been in better hands.
I had a really good side. My mom is a retired teacher, so she was my substitute.
I was thinking she needed a rest, but being a teacher myself, I understood.
I did log on every day. We're not going to tell anybody that.
Too late, Miss Hume. Your students started bragging the first day you logged on.
And chat box went from nothing to max capacity and chats real fast. That meant much to have a teacher that cared enough to go and catch us up to read us a book like that.
Cared enough to never stop fighting, whether in the hospital or the classroom.
This is it. Oh, I just love that story. So many teachers out there doing so much right now to help these students. But following her procedure, Ms. Hume is now back in the classroom.
We celebrate teachers everywhere, especially during this pandemic. Riley, let's talk about the weather as we head into the week.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Check this out. A rescue mission last night to help 6 people stuck on a Ferris wheel, one of those giant ones. It happened in Panama City Beach, Florida. Those riders found themselves stranded more than 180 feet up in the air after the sky wheel came to a stop.
No, firefighters had to bring in a crane to help, and winds made it a little trickier getting the crane's carts to the riders. They were brought down 2 at a time. It took about 6 hours to get everyone down, and officials think a power outage in the area is to blame. They're still investigating, though. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but oh man, that is not... I guess they got a little more than they paid for. 6 hours worth. Ooh. The pandemic has forced many changes on the world, but it's not stopping children in Brazil from telling Santa Claus their Christmas wish list. This year, they have to do it virtually, but at a shopping center in Rio, Santa's Village has adapted to the need to slow the spread of the virus. The kids, you can see, they meet with them through a video conference. The area is being cleaned between each visit, but that picture will be priceless, probably right out of the chapter of a history book.
Smart way to do it. Movie lovers, Coming to America, the sequel to that 1988 Eddie Murphy comedy, will be available to watch next year. You'll be able to watch the film that reunites Murphy and Arsenio Hall on the Amazon Prime Video March the 5th. Amazon Studios says Coming to America was a cultural phenomenon. They know people around the world are going to fall in love with the sequel.
Lake Plan's looking good to go.
Plus, with rapid COVID tests coming to all South Carolina schools, we talked to the experts about how accurate those tests are and how our local counties are preparing. But first, we're learning the identity of the man found dead in Edgefield County.
Officials telling us today 35-year-old Jeremy Lawton of Aiken was killed after being shot in the head. The body discovered here in this field outside Johnston around 5:30 Wednesday morning.
The sheriff's office says they're looking to question a white male who would have been on Waterworks Road around that time and was also spotted on Ridgeview Lake Road around 8 a.m. If you have any information, call the sheriff's office.
Another arrest today in the death of a 12-year-old boy in Aiken.
Jennifer Oakman now behind bars, charged with accessory after the fact of murder and DUI. This is the 4th arrest in the death of Edward McKenzie Jr. Erica Smith and Tashia Limehouse also charged with accessory after the fact of murder. Hakeem Hampton facing multiple charges, including murder.
Investigators are still looking for Demetrius Williams in the case. If you have any information about where he might be, call the Aiken Department of Public Safety.
Tonight, we're learning more about a fatal house fire in Aiken today. We now know the sole victim was a male. This is a look at the scene as emergency crews responded to a double-wide mobile home off Gregory Road this morning.
Investigators say 2 others were trapped inside. They were able to make it out safely. Celeste Springer spoke with a neighbor who says he tried his best to help.
Gregory Road for a structure fire. Be advised, it's going to be a double wide fully involved at this time.
A quiet morning here on Gregory Road until loud booms woke up neighbors next door. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office and Center Fire Department getting the 911 call at around 7:30.
Like boom, 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 and then came outside, I seen that the truck bed was on fire, and the trailer was on fire, and the girl was screaming and hollering.
Chris Roper says he rushed out of his house to find the house next door on fire. The people staying inside the double-wide trailer stuck inside.
Trying to get him out, trying to save his life. I'm going to get him out the best way I can, but I see I couldn't because, that fire is something serious.
He says he tried his best to help, burning himself while assisting police, but one of the three inside didn't make it out. His brother lives here, but by chance wasn't there this morning.
I'm glad it wasn't my brother in there, but it's kind of sad that he had to be in there to lose his life, you know what I'm saying? And I wish it was nobody in there.
He admits some things were out of his control.
A tough way by going out, but I leave it up to God, Everything happened for a reason.
Celeste Springer, on your side.
There are still a lot of unknowns involving the fire. SLED is assisting with his investigation of the cause, and the coroner is also conducting an autopsy tomorrow to confirm the identity of the person who did not make it out alive. Also this evening, the city of Augusta cracking down on coronavirus. Leaders saying though cases are rising, people's guards are coming down.
Mayor Hardy Davis says the city can expect some stricter enforcements from here on out. And as City Heiberger reports, they're taking it seriously. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, local, state, and national COVID numbers have health experts feeling concerned.
We remain below our summer peak, but we are headed in the wrong direction.
The CDC, Department of Public Health, and city leaders all encourage a smaller Thanksgiving this year without travel or extended family.
I want to be with my family, but we will be there together virtually.
Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis says Thanksgiving gatherings can serve as the perfect storm when it comes to super spreader events.
Exposure to asymptomatic cases, and this is a concern, can easily lead to spread as people unmask in private gatherings.
Meanwhile, Augusta's mask ordinance and statewide executive orders are still in place.
We have seen individuals and establishments become lax in the city of Augusta.
The mayor says within the next week, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office will randomly check on businesses across the city to ensure they are meeting social distancing and mask requirements.
We're well beyond the educational phase at this point. People will know that we're serious about this.
And when it comes to future executive orders, the mayor says increased fines could be on the horizon. Reporting in Augusta, Sydney Heiberger on your side. Across the Peach State, more than 2,700 new COVID cases reported today. That's around the same number as the day before. If the state stays on trend, we can expect to hit 400,000 total confirmed cases by tomorrow. Nearly 120 more Georgians are now in the hospital being treated, and 22 more have died.
In South Carolina, close to 1,500 new cases today, 26 more deaths. The number of confirmed positive cases in the Palmetto State going up every day this week. So checking our local hospitals, AU Health.
A week after Thanksgiving.
Happening right now, we're taking a live look at USC Aiken. They're starting up their in-person fall graduation ceremony. This is going on at Aiken High School's football field, where nearly 300 students are receiving their degrees tonight. You can see them spaced out there on the field. We're going to hear from some of them about their post-college plans in the middle of this pandemic. That story will be tonight on News 12 at 11 o'clock. But congratulations to the graduates.
New opportunities are on the